Hey everyone, welcome to this week's webinar. Now my name is Sven Kron and I'm the one who's hosting this 7-week webinar series. This webinar series is called ReWild and Maximize Life. Now what I wanted to talk about was I wanted to go over how nutrition can actually benefit your life, how you can improve all aspects of your health through nutrition, and that's really an important aspect that people tend to overlook. You know, I was always told, and throughout all of these weeks, we're going to break down, you know, my story. We're going to go through what actually happens in nutrition, where you can find your food, where you can actually focus your attention and get the benefits from. So the big point of this week's this week's webinar is actually to talk about what I guess it's about where you're at. It's finding out where you're at. You know, this webinar series is meant to come to you. You know, it's meant to actually find out where your problems are and to actually help you move through them. You know, it's not like you've got prerequisites. You've got to be here. You've got to do this. You've got to already, you know, be doing this. You've got to have these systems in place. It's not like that. It's meant to find you where you are. You know, if you have a bad diet and you want to change it, great. You're in the right place. And it's also, you know, hosted this week, and all 7 weeks are going to be hosted by CrossFit Stanton. I've got the sign behind me, and ReWild your health. And let's go ahead and get into this webinar. I just wanted to do a quick introduction so that you knew who I was, what we're going to be doing, and what these 7 weeks are going to be about. All right, so again, this is the week 1 of the webinar series, of the 7-week webinar series called ReWild and Maximize Life. This webinar series is brought to you by CrossFit Stanton. Now, I really like doing CrossFit, so when I first discovered these guys, you know, they were great. They do lots of stuff above and beyond just working out. You know, they're definitely a great place if you want to come work out, and they've got a lot of knowledge. They've got a lot of good coaches, and they're willing to help you. They're not just trying to get their own results. They're trying to help you get results. So definitely go check these people out. I've got the link for their website at the bottom. It's crossfitstanton.com. And if you go onto Facebook or Instagram, they've also got those kinds of accounts. It's at CrossFit Stanton. Definitely go check them out. Thanks again for these guys for hosting the show, and let's dive in. So these 7 weeks are going to be broken down by the 7 steps to correct, balance, and maximize your nutrition. That was the free cheat sheet that I offered. And this first week, we're going to find out where you are. You know, these are the upcoming weeks. You know, you're going to learn about what's good. You're going to replace what you eat, add in good sources, specialize your diet, have a water plan, and increase your health span. You know, that's really the goal of all of this. So this week, you know, in step 1 really is to find out where you are. You know, you can't have assumptions of where you are and try to think you're going to reach some goals because you don't know where you are. You don't know where you're at, and you don't know where you're going. That's really the problem. The birthright for every human is to be able to adapt and thrive in any environment. And, you know, this is something that I say that I think is very important for everybody, especially in today's society. You know, the reason that humans are so broad is because they were able to adapt and thrive in any environment they were in. They're so widespread because of their ability to evolve. And then here's me thriving in a river. So before we continue, I do want to make sure that you've got your downloads. So these are the 2 downloads for this week. The first one is the 7 steps to correct, balance, and maximize your nutrition. That is what we're breaking down today. So hopefully you have that. If not, I'll show you how to grab it. And then also the free ebook, ReWild Your Diet, 13 Ancestral Nutrition Tips. This first one is from me. It is my cheat sheet, and it's going to be covered in the next 7 weeks throughout this whole webcast. It touches on how to take your health into your own hands, empower yourself. You and your friends can get a free copy of this by texting ReWild to 44222. You can do this from any phone, and it can be anybody, just like, hey, you want a copy of this cheat sheet? Make sure you text ReWild to 44222. And the second one is from Briar Kalia. She is actually my partner, and she is the one who wrote the ReWild Your Diet 13 Ancestral Nutrition Tips. Now, this is Briar's guide to having great nutrition, and it's very similar to this webinar. It goes much more in depth on certain topics. This is definitely a great resource for anybody to have who's trying to better their diet. She actually breaks down lots of other aspects of health, and she's definitely great. So you are in the right place if you love learning about health and nutrition. I mean, come on, who doesn't, right? You have struggled to be healthy in the past. You are overweight, sick, or unhappy. This definitely applies to me. I've been overweight all my life. So, and you're also in the right place if you have a loved one who's unhealthy and you aren't sure where to start looking, what to do for them or anything. This is the right place to be. So this is what you'll learn today. You'll learn what it means to be healthy, how to find out where you are now, and what the key factors of health are. But really, what you'll learn today is what you can do now to start improving your health. And it's now, like literally after watching this, you can go log off here and start improving your health right now. So I'm going to keep this discussion going over on Twitter. So use this hashtag ReWildYourHealth to ask me questions and discuss your views with others. So anything that I talk about in here, just use this hashtag, and I'll be over on Twitter using it too. We'll be able to have conversations. If you have any questions, just come ask me. And this is my Twitter handle. It's @CrunksFen. So a little bit about me. My name is Fen Cronigan. Here's a picture of me. I'm actually hanging off a cliff right here. It's kind of hard to tell, but here's some more pictures of me. I live in Virginia, and we had a big snowstorm, so I'm up to my knees in snow. Here's me with my little girl. She's 3 now. And there is my partner, Briar, whose ebook, hopefully you downloaded, and you can download that below this video. I am the creator of ReWild Your Health, but I have studied nutrition for years. And it's really been years and years. I've been trying to figure out what the best way to fix your diet is, because I wanted to fix my diet, and I've studied it for you. Oh, look, here's me fixing my diet, right? I'm eating something that was in the river that day. So what I've done is I've deciphered tons of information. That's what I do. I decipher information every day. I love learning about health and nutrition and fitness and psychology. I love learning all those aspects. I probably consider myself an anthropologist. And I digest tons of stuff. So podcasts, blogs, books, conferences, online conferences, courses, online courses, seminars, coaching, documentaries, everything. I digest everything. I listen to stuff all the time, tons and tons. You'll always see me walking around with headphones in if you ever catch me out and around when I'm not with my wife or doing something. So these are the kind of people that I follow. Up here on the top left is Danny Vitalis. He's the creator of ReWild Yourself podcast, and he's definitely a big inspiration. He's the leader of the ReWild movement, and he's one to definitely go check out. On the top right is Ben Greenfield. He is a treasure trove of nutritional and fitness information. Definitely go check him out. And then I've got Sean Stevenson on the bottom, and he's involved with the Model Health Show. These are definitely people that you should go check out. But if you want to learn more of their information, this is the right place to do it, because this is what I talk about. They all talk about the same thing that I talk about. So my goal is to distill all of this information for you. I will be discussing my whole story next week, from my childhood as an overweight kid, trying everything to lose weight. But really the short version was that in school, I actually weighed more than I do right now. It's kind of sad. I weighed 260 pounds, and that was when I was like 15. So, and I worked out, but saw no results. I did all kinds of sports. And it wasn't until I came across veganism, which is not what this is about, but it led me into every diet you can imagine. I tried all the diets, Atkins, the vegan, vegetarian, paleo, I've done everything, and it's been a lifelong quest. And a quest through my genome, I was always told that it was my genes that caused me to be overweight, and then I couldn't do anything about it. But that is not true. So today is actually about you. So enough about me. I want to talk a little bit about you. So how do we know where to start? Start with your health, duh. So in what I mean, or what specifically is, what does health even mean? It's the internal and external factors that can change your health that really matter. So to start off with, I've been throwing around health a lot. Why don't we define health? What I mean by health, and I want to show you how you can understand it. So there are lots of aspects and contributors to health. It can be really confusing, and a lot of times it tends to be vague and relative. It's relative to everybody, every situation. And here's a great picture that I'd seen in a conference I went to recently. You want to, if you eat like the food pyramid, you'll be like the food pyramid. So in health, there are two factors that influence your health. There are internal factors, and these are things that go on inside your body that happen within your body. So your weight is an internal factor, energy, your hormone levels, absence of disease, your fertility, and your mental health. So the external factors are the other ones. You've got internal and external. So external factors are anything that happens to your body, anything you do with your body that your body is in or around, and that's diet, movement, your community, your purpose, having a purpose, and your environment. Those are all external factors. And this is a great quote that I love from my favorite documentary, Hungry for Change. Whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you'll experience in your life. Tony Robbins. I just wanted to throw that in there because it's very true. Whatever you think will happen, probably will happen. So let's break down these factors a little more. What is the difference between the aspects of and the contributors to your health? So aspects are what happen on the inside, everything you do to your body. And contributors are what happens to your body, what you do with your body, where it lives. So the first aspect of health is weight. So I put this picture here. It is, some Aboriginals from Australia. They are definitely healthy. It's not like they are way overweight or they're even shredded or anything. They've got the right body weight for them, for humans. So weight is really hard on your body. It can change your hormones. So when you have especially more belly fat, it can release estrogens, and it can cause you to be estrogen dominant or have low testosterone. It can actually increase inflammation, which will cause you to even have more weight. So it's a vicious cycle. Your body uses it to store toxins. It uses body fat to store toxins. So if you have a lot of toxins in your body, what it'll do is it'll make fat cells and it'll stick it in there. That way it doesn't actually affect your body. It doesn't harm your body, hurt your cells or anything. And when you try to lose weight, that means you've got to release these toxins. And if you don't have an effective way to clear all of the toxins out of your body will just put them back in fat cells and it'll store them. So you've really got to figure out how to detox. And then also said that fatty liver can cause insulin imbalances, which has everything. Insulin has everything to do with your body weight. We'll talk about it in a little bit. So energy is the second aspect. You don't have it when you're not healthy. So if you don't have energy, you're not healthy. Adrenal fatigue is a big factor, and that's why I have this picture here. Your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys, and they're the ones that actually produce cortisol and adrenaline, or epinephrine, norepinephrine. They do all that kind of stuff. And when they get tired, if they produce a lot of stuff all the time, if they produce a lot of cortisol, then they actually get tired and they'll stop producing stuff as much. And so you actually have to fix that if you want energy. You use more energy when you're overweight, which is true. If you lose weight, you'll lose less energy. Caffeine can actually make you have lower energy over the long term. So it gives you a short-term burst, but you become habituated to it. You become actually accustomed to it, and you start losing the ability to use caffeine effectively. So your hormone levels Cortisol and adrenaline, they come from your adrenal glands. Those are stress-related hormones. Melatonin to get good sleep hormone, serotonin, dopamine, those are feel-good hormones. Estrogen, testosterone, sex hormones, and insulin. Insulin's a hormone that's produced by your pancreas. When you eat sugar and sugar ends up in your bloodstream, you actually release insulin, and it takes the sugar out of your bloodstream, because if not, you would die. But what it does is it tries to get your cells to utilize it, get your liver to use it, and anything that's left over, it'll make fat cells and put the sugar in the fat cells. So insulin produces fat. If you have a lot of insulin in your body, it'll produce a lot of fat. So, this is talked about a little bit before in the body fat, where your fat will actually produce estrogens, and it'll cause hormone imbalance. It controls everything you do. Hormones do. They're produced by glands, and they're called neurotransmitters when they're in your brain. So your brain is a gland, but whenever it's in your body, it's a hormone. When it's in your brain, it's a neurotransmitter. So absence of disease is the next aspect of health. Disease is when your body's function becomes disordered. They can be mild to severe. Like, really, the diseases, it's hard to say. A healthy person has little to no disease, and it has an effect on everything in your body. So disease is a little ambiguous. When you have an infection, yes, you've got a disease. If you break your leg, no, you do not have a disease. But a disease is a burden on your body, and you've got to make sure that you're eating a good diet so that you have little to no disease. Fertility really is the true measure of health. It is, if you're healthy, you're fertile. If you're not fertile, that means that there's something really wrong, and your body's using all of the energy and nutrients it would use on your fertility and putting it elsewhere. And since fertility is a true measure of health, that's pretty bad. It can be a sign of what level of health you're at. If you get to that point, then that means that there's something wrong that you need to address. And fertility really is the base of evolution. It's what makes animals do what they do, because they try to survive. They try to make their species live past just themselves. And then I put the moon phase here because women's cycles are really connected with the moon, with the tidal waves. That's where the menstrual cycle really comes from. So mental health is the last aspect of health. This shows what condition your brain is in, and you really need it to be happy and fulfilled. Death by mental illness is actually on the rise. It's supposed to be by 2020 the #1 killer in the United States. It's supposed to pass heart disease and cancer. And I'm going to take a little story here about Pottinger's cats, and this shows you, they had signs of poor mental health, especially at the end, but this really talks about why diet is important. So Pottinger's cats, this experiment was conducted by Francis M. Pottinger Jr. He lived in the early 1900s, and he did lots of studies. So he involved more than 900 cats over the course of 10 years in all of the studies he did. And the one we're going to talk about, he fed cats. He had two groups of cats. Some cats were fed raw meat and raw milk, and the rest were fed cooked meat and raw milk. So there was vastly different results over the 3 generations. Raw meat was actually what cats have evolved to eat, because they're carnivores. They don't cook. So the ones that ate the raw meat actually stayed healthy for all the generations that he had studied. And the cooked meat cats kept getting sicker and sicker. If you're interested in this, there's a book here. It's the one that he had written about his studies, and I just put it here for your reference. So what happened with the first generation of the cooked food cats is they started to develop degenerative diseases, and this was later in life. They became very lazy too, so they started to become lethargic and lay around. In the second generation, the degenerative diseases started by midlife. So by the time the cats would be equivalent to like 40 or 50, they started getting degenerative disease. And then they started losing their coordination. So they started being a little more clumsy. They started being forgetful, that kind of stuff. Third generation, they developed degenerative diseases early in life, when they were still young. Some were actually born blind and had short lifespans. They all had short lifespans. Many became infertile. They had an abundance of parasites. So they started losing their hair. They had mange and stuff. They had skin diseases, allergies. When they started this, the first generation cats had allergies at a rate of about 5%. And the third generation had it about 90% of cats had allergies. And then the fourth generations, the kittens didn't even last over 6 months. The whole line of cats died at this point. Their bones became super soft and pliable, and they had adverse personality changes. So the women became very hostile and aggressive, and the men became very docile. They became very lazy, and they really, it's really a true sign of what nutrition can do to your body. So what had happened was the cooked meat cats were actually lacking the amino acid taurine, which is here on the right. Taurine was used in the process of proteins, but it's a sign of what deficiencies can do to an animal and to us. It's a sign of what deficiencies can do to us. And if you look at today's society, it's heading in this generation, with the processed food that we're eating, we probably are at the point where we're in the second generation. So, the adults today are starting to, get diseases like cancer and heart disease when they're younger and younger, and they start become, clumsy, forgetful. Like we're on this progress, and we need to really stop. So this whole story really leads us to the contributors to health, in particular your diet. Your diet is probably one of the biggest controls of your health. So this last example is a really good reason why you need a good diet. You have to have lots of variety. This picture here has a lot of variety in it, but you need to make sure your diet is varied and preferably seasonal. But we'll talk about that in all the rest of these webcasts. So what you eat becomes you. So you share DNA with your food. So whenever you eat something or digest it, you're actually exchanging genetic material with it. So do you want to be made of, Twinkies and donuts and cupcakes, or do you want to be made of like the best food in the world? Like really, it's your choice. So movement, exercise is how you move your body. I put a picture of me here doing some exercise. I was probably doing some power cleans or something in the rain. You can't really tell, but it looked like I was suffering a little bit. Not too bad. Our brain size is actually attributed to our level of movement. So the reason that humans actually have a bigger brain, and this is talked about in Born to Run by Christopher McDougall, was that we developed the ability to run more independent than other animals did. And it actually caused our brains to get a little bigger. And there's a particular animal, I think it's like a sea sponge or something, where when it's born out of eggs, and it swims and it finds a good place to live. So once it finds this place on this rock to live, it implants itself and it starts eating its central nervous system. So it actually self-cannibalizes its brain because it's not going to move anymore. It doesn't need its brain. So it gets rid of it. It's the importance of movement. Movement's how we shape our bodies. So whatever we want with our bodies, we have to do it through movement. And it is important for us to reach our genetic potential with movement. So community, humans are very social creatures. They're the most social creatures on Earth. Community is what centurions have in common. I had to slow down there for a second. So centurions are people who live to be over 100. If you look across the world at societies where there are high instances of centurions, they all actually have a strong community. Especially in Japan, there's like places where these 100-year-old women meet every day for tea. They have a strong sense of community. And that's what hunter-gatherers had. It is one aspect of feeling truly fulfilled, which is important. So the purpose, having a purpose, is really the feeling of doing what you're drawn to do. Your purpose is what you feel, doing what you feel like you're meant to do. So this sounds a little like frou-frou, airy, new age kind of stuff, but it's really not. It's just as important as diet and movement. And without meaning, your life really will be miserable. The number one regret, there's books and studies of the regrets of the dying. The number one regret is not doing what they wanted to do. Not fulfilling their purpose is the number one regret. And it's really important for you to be healthy. Your environment, it has the biggest long-term effect. So if you're somewhere for a short term, the environment will have less of effect than if you're there for a long term. So having toxins in your environment can be detrimental. That's why I put this. This is the title from the documentary Moldy by Dave Asprey. He documents how mold in your environment can really be detrimental to your health. And there are people who had gotten autism and died and like crazy stuff just from mold. So, and it's also thought that Alzheimer's, when it gets into your brain, can be a mold that makes your brain start to dissolve and become kind of mushy. So your body is an environment. So everything you do with your body, you're putting it in an environment. Your clothes, if you have metal fillings, amalgam fillings in your mouth, your deodorant is what you're doing with your environment. All of this stuff becomes your environment. Your perfume, your shoes, where you live, everything. That's your environment. It is health that is real wealth, and not pieces of gold and silver. That's a quote by Gandhi. Health is real wealth. So what I want to go over is why are hunter-gatherers healthy? Before I really start into this, I want to address the problems people associate with hunter-gatherers, because they really were and are the healthiest beings, the healthiest humans, Homo sapiens, the healthiest Homo sapiens on Earth. And, a lot of the myths were that they lived to be 35. They had high infant mortality rate. We evolved to do agriculture, so it must be better. So they must be primitive or something like that. Those are not correct views. So they only lived to be 35. This is an average age, and it includes infant mortality. Yes, it's correct technically, but if the hunter-gatherers, if they lived to be 15, then their average age was actually 54. Today it's 66. After agriculture was introduced, the average age of everybody, even people over 15, dropped down to the low 30s, and it only reached 54 within the past century. It's been they were truly healthy. They were almost as healthy as we are today with modern medicine keeping people alive. And the reason that they say 35 is because they go by dental records when dating hunter-gatherers. So when they find a skull, they check to see if their wisdom teeth have actually erupted. And they fully erupt by age 30, so they just kind of, that's how they used to do it. They kind of guess. And then it was assumed that they only lived to be 35 because that's just what they said that the dental record said. So they have a high infant mortality rate. This is technically true, but it's not because of germs. It's not because they're dirty, primitive, savage. It's not because of that. What they wanted the strongest and the hardiest children to survive and carry on their genes. They had tests for infants to make sure that only the strongest and the best equipped would actually carry on the genes. That these really strong kids were the ones who would grow up and reproduce. It was a very different culture, and they were really based on surviving and thriving. They didn't want to bring in a child that had problems, and I associate it with the movie 300, where the hunchback guy comes and talks to Leonidas, and he says that he can't hold his shield up, so he can't fit in the line somewhere, so that's why he can't be a part of it. That's how hunter-gatherers looked at stuff, objective. So we evolved to do agriculture, so it must be better. This really depends on your perspective. So is it better for the human race to expand, or is it better for everyone to be healthier? Is it better for the Earth to have 10 billion humans on it, or is it better for it to have 500 million and everybody be extremely healthy? It's really your perspective on that. I personally would rather be healthy, my family be healthy and vibrant, happy, not have to worry about disease and mental illness. And that's why agriculture is really a perspective. So Spencer Wells, he's a geneticist who studies ancient humans, a paleoanthropologist. So he believes that agriculture was actually forced on the humans. Humans were using wheat in the Middle East, and their population grew. So back a long time ago, just after the recession of the Ice Age, the humans in the area had started seeing a lot of wheat around. So they actually, like, because of all the wheat around, they started settling and they gathered some of the wheat. They were still hunter-gatherers, but they gathered some of the wheat. So their population got a little bigger. And there was a massive cooling event called the Younger Dryas. And what this did is it caused all of the wheat to retreat into the mountain valleys in high up in the hills. So then all of a sudden, humans were like, whoa, we don't have any food, So they started hunting the megafauna. Then all the megafauna went extinct. All of the Irish elk, all of the woolly mammoths, all the stuff went extinct at the same time. And so when we came out of this cooling event, which was 10,000 years ago, it was like 500 or something like that. Humans decided to gather these seeds, and it was probably, a woman who was gathering. She probably decided to bring these seeds back and plant them because they understood how seeds worked, so they were bringing them closer to home. And then that's kind of how agriculture started, They kind of got locked into it. They had such a big population, they had to keep doing it, unless they wanted everybody to start starving, which is not what you really want. So agriculture, this was just one hypothesis. There are lots of other examples of agriculture being started around the same time period. I have a map here of Turkey. Down here where the little asterisk is on the bottom is where Göbekli Tepe is. That was another place where modern einkorn wheat, it was found to be grown in a field about 20 miles from Göbekli Tepe, which is one of the biggest systems built by hunter-gatherers. It was a temple system. And it was actually built by hunter-gatherers. It's another. It's assumed that they had slaves or something like that, and that the slaves had to be fed something really easy to produce. So that's why agriculture started. But that's all just hypothesis. So the thought really is that agriculture was forced onto us. We didn't adopt it because it was good for us. We adopted it because it was really forced to keep our population going. So I want to talk about one more thing, and really it's the point of this webinar, to find out where your diet is now. Nice chipwreck here. This is the easiest section. So take a look at what your diet consists of. The best way to do this is through a food, mood, poop journal. I'll actually talk about that in a second. It's kind of funny. It's got poop in it, right? All right, so look at how you want your diet to be like. So, if you're eating bad stuff, identify it. If you want to change it, then change it. You can really find out, pinpoint where your problems are and then change it. So you focus on one food at a time and you slowly replace each food and you move on to the next. And then, after you master each one, after a point, you'll really be where you wanted to be all these years ago. So one thing, I really like Tony Robbins. One thing that he says is to mimic others. You mimic the diet of others and you can achieve health. If you look at someone like Ben Greenfield or Sean Stevenson from the beginning, if you want to be like them, really look into what their diet is, what their lifestyle is like. And if you copy that, then your health could be like them. Again, genetics is a factor, so it may not be exactly, but mimicking really is an option for people. So this is what I suggest. What I personally suggest is that you focus on the food journal. This is going to be for you. So I want you to tune in for the next series of webinars to find out what the healthy diet is. This is just how to identify and fix your diet right now. So we're going to focus on the food journal for the rest of this education. So what is a food, mood, poop journal? Is it like a regular journal? Well, yes and no. You write down the food that you eat. So in a regular journal, you write about your life. In a food, mood, poop journal, you write about your food, your mood, your poop. So you write down the food you eat, the mood you're in, and what your poop is like. So this is a great way to find out if there's food you can't tolerate. But what you got to do is you just got to write down the food, your mood, and what your poop was like, and that's it. So I just want to make sure that you write down all of the food that you eat and drink. So smoothies, even like water or soda, all that stuff, write it down. And this will really show you what you're actually eating and how much. So it can be that you think you've got a pretty good diet and you keep a food log and you find out that, man, I ate like 5 Snickers today or something like that. And you didn't notice it because it was just part of your everyday habits. But this is a way to identify that and fix it. So you need to write down all the times that you eat and poop. And when your mood changes, you need to write that down too. You got to be really descriptive. So I put this in here, be honest. Your body keeps an accurate journal regardless of what you write down. So remember that. This isn't to impress other people. It's to help you. So when you drink a glass of milk, you got to write it down. And then you see, like, in a few hours later, my stomach hurts. And you've got proof. You can repeat this. This is the scientific method. If you don't know what caused something, you can try to eat them again and see if anything bothers you. Maybe it was just a one-off thing, or maybe you actually can't tolerate milk. If you eat flax seeds and then you poop them out 2 days later, you see flax seeds in your poop, then you know that you need to fix your digestion, and you write that down. This is really the power of keeping an honest and accurate journal, and this is what you can do today to help. So, are you properly digesting your food? This is a little test that I had come across in the Practical Paleo, and I really liked the idea, and it was a good idea. So what I want you to do is I want you to get a tablespoon or two of flax, sesame, or chia seeds. It doesn't have to be one particular one, but you just got to make sure that they're whole, and drink them with some water. So don't eat them with food. Make sure that it's spaced out a couple hours between each ends of the food spectrum. But you take them in between a meal, and then you time how long it takes until it appears in your stool. So it should be 18 to 24 hours. So that's how a normal digestive system generally, that's how it goes. If it's less than this, it means that you've eaten something irritating. If it's more than this, then you've had an imbalance in your gut flora. All right, so really, the majority of the seeds will, if they do appear less than 18 hours, it means that you have something irritating in your diet. It means that something that you've eaten within this period that you tried this test, there was something that bothered your stomach. And it was like, oh crap, unload the rigors or whatever, and get the stuff out. We can't be holding on to this. So let's just try to move it through as fast as we can so it has the least amount of damage. Your journal is the tool that helps you find what food causes this. So the journal is best kept over a period of time. If it actually takes more than 24 hours to digest your food, that means that something's wrong with your actual digestion. So try to eat more fermented foods, eat more fiber or something like that. Try to feed your probiotics in your stomach a little more. And your journal will help you tell this as well. So if you have any more questions about keeping a journal, you can ask me. I wanted to really make sure that it's clear. This can be something you just write down in a notebook. So what I want you to do when you go home is I want you to get a notebook. I want you to write down, starting right now, what I've eaten, how I'm feeling, and when I go to the bathroom. So I want you to really be specific. If you snack, write down how frequent you snack. Write down the times. That's something that'll really help. The times are really specific, and it can really help you pinpoint. If you ate something and then 18 hours later you felt bad, then it's possible it could have been something that you had eaten previously. You just need to keep it over a long period of time to have the same effects that you need to have it over a long period of time so that you can actually heal yourself. You can figure out what's wrong. You can actually pinpoint to it, and you can see, man, the last 5 times I've eaten wheat, I've gotten a headache. So you can really figure that out yourself. So I want you to remember to use this hashtag to ask me questions and discuss your views with others. So hashtag ReWild your health. I want everybody to try this at home, and I'll try it too, and put up your results. Hashtag ReWild your health. So I want you to try this, and if it's like 18 hours, put up hashtag 18 hours or whatever. 18 hashtag ReWild your health. You know what I mean. So this is really important. I want you to really focus on keeping this food log. So what I'm really trying to get across here is that nutrition's awesome. I love nutrition. and it can be the doorway to the life you want to live. It can really be your guiding force, your North Star. You can have the health that you want. You can have the body that you want and the energy you want. It's not, dependent on your genes. It's not because you got dealt a crappy, hand and you can't change it. You can change it. Everything gets better when you have better health. If you've got a business and it's struggling, if you fix your health, I promise your business will increase. You'll be able to have a clearer mind to focus on your business. You'll have more energy and you'll feel better. You'll want to work on it. It won't give you headaches. Once you really understand nutrition, it won't be as confusing as it seems at first glance. I know that all of this seems really confusing, and that's why I'm here. I want to help you with this. I want it to be really easy. So you just got to put some work in up front to really understand it. And then when you're done with it, you can actually apply it all the way across your life. It's really simple once you understand it. So until you get your nutrition right, nothing is going to change. I like this quote, so I put it in here. This is also true in the field of health. If you want, until you get your health right, nothing is going to change. It's really got to be a focus. It's got to be a major focus for you to have a better life and to be happier. So this is the right place to start to change your nutrition. Right here, this is the right place to start to change your nutrition. You really need to find out these kinds of sources and then keep up with these people. So that way you continue to learn and you can figure it out for yourself. If this still seems daunting, and I know it can, this was for me when I first started. Years ago, I had no clue what I was doing. I would pull my hair out and be like, why has this happened? My wife and I, we talk all the time about nutrition, and we just hypothesize, what about this? What about this? And then slowly we started putting stuff together, and it was years. Just please tune into all of these free webinars. You'll be in the top % of educated people in this field. I promise. If you listen to all 7 of these webinars, you will be the most educated person about nutrition. You'll be able to help everybody. You'll know more than doctors. You'll know more than, health practitioners, nutritionists. I promise you'll know more. And, please keep a food, mood, poop journal to get the best return on investment from your diet. From this webinar, implement that one thing. And please ask me questions. I will be happy to answer. Trust me, I would love to help you. I wish there was someone who could have helped me when I was starting this journey. But things still seem confusing. If you want to figure it out yourself, you can put in the time and study everything you can get your hands on. You can wade through all of these false promises, diet fads, and all of these gurus who are out there to try to find something that worked specifically for you, because you never know, it might not work for you. Or you can tap into my years, please, I'm telling you, tap into my years of research and investigation to quickly and easily get your specific meal plan with no headaches or confusion. The thing that nobody tells you is that they want you to follow a diet. They want you to say, hey, you need to take this diet. You need to do this, and everybody will benefit if they did this, but nobody listens, so you just need to do it. Well, that's not true. It's not true. You need your own specific meal plan, and it's because of your genes. We'll break down all of this, but it's really because of your genes. The fastest path to this health is through ReWild Your Health. The fastest path to understanding how to feed yourself, how to dissect nutrition, how to feed your family, how to do all of this. This is the shortcut, ReWild Your Health. So I love this quote. It's by Albert Einstein. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. That's definitely a motto that I try to incorporate into my diet, into my life. Yes, into my diet too. It should be simple. But really, that's what ReWild Your Health does. That is what this whole thing does. So what is ReWild Your Health? ReWild Your Health is the complete step-by-step program to correct, balance, and maximize your nutrition. Step-by-step. That means it's laid out for you. It's easy. This is the shortcut to getting the nutrition that you want. It is the absolute fastest way to get from point A to point B. It is step by step, meaning that each step is laid out for you. It's laid out in front of you. There's no confusion or misunderstandings. You will end with a plan specific to you and your goals. Your plan will include everything you want to do. It'll include the life you want to live. It'll include your health goals. It's the difference between getting from point A to point B in this beat up car you're not sure is going to start. You're kind of hoping will hang in there a little longer. And then the, Model 3 Tesla, which will get there, the most efficiently that it can, the fastest, and it'll be a smooth, luxurious ride. This is the difference. This is what ReWild Your Health can do for you. So what is it exactly? It's a 12-module course. It starts where your diet is now and gets it to your diet goals. So a lot of the stuff that I have actually taken myself, has assumed that stuff, has assumed that you're in a certain place, and this doesn't. This is actually starting where you are now. You can be sitting on the couch and eating chips, and that's where you start. That is totally fine. This is for you. There's no ambiguity. Everything is laid out. It is simple to understand, and it is very intuitive. It is the exact path that I have honed over the course of years in more than 10,000 hours of study and ongoing study. I'm always learning, and I swear I've probably spent 20,000 hours, 30,000 hours. I have studied this forever, and this is what I've distilled. So let me break down the modules for you so that you know what everything is going into it. So what does health even mean? That's module number 1. It's the internal and external factors that can change your health. I will go farther in depth about this topic from what I've done today. That's what this webinar was about. This will go farther in depth. And trust me, there's a lot more to learn about this. You'll discover how all of these factors can be your downfall, or you can make them your strength. You can become really good at the stuff that you didn't think you were going to be good at. And it'll show you how to start your personalized plan. It'll show you how to do it yourself. So module number 2, what should you feed a human in a zoo? How should you eat and what your genes are telling you? So find out how humans have evolved to eat. This will really surprise you. Trust me, a lot of people don't say this. This is not what you hear in modern day. So it's how diets can cause different levels of health so that you know how to become the healthiest that you can, how to apply these lessons to modern life. A lot of places don't talk about that. They don't talk about how to apply it to modern life. They talk about where you should just be now. And that's not the case. You should take this stuff and apply it to today. So step 3, or module number 3, is the easiest way to find plants. The steps to sourcing the best food in the world. Learn why sourcing your food can automatically create the life you want, just automatically. Get specific instruction on how and where to find this food and find it cheaply. This includes more than plants. It includes bacteria, fungi, and protists. Yes, protists. These are the superfoods that you never hear about. I swear, no one ever talks about protists. I've heard about it maybe a handful of times in the years I've been studying. These are really the superfoods that you never hear about. So module 4, the easier way to find meat. Is the process of acquiring better meat for less money. Learn what is important about finding quality meat, where should the emphasis of your money be placed, and how you can relieve the burden placed on your wallet. So a lot of problems with meat is that people say it's expensive. It doesn't have to be. Trust me, if you take this, you will spend less money on meat. Now, module 5 is raise your sources to the next level. There's 5 steps you need to get the quality you deserve. Learn these 5 steps to getting way better food than you can get from the store. And this, again, is something nobody says. Nobody talks about this stuff. I don't know why. And I've had to figure all this out on my own, and I am bringing it to you now. You can save even more money doing this. It's crazy. Module number 6, level up your life. It's the 5.5 foods that will change your life. Yes, that's a half. So these are the true superfoods that only the top nutritionists even know about. Just this section can give you the life that you want. The extra half is the cherry on top. It includes the best way to get the most nutrition from your foods, like to get the most out of your food. And I'm really going to be talking about this in one of the later webinars, so really tune in for that. The Next module, module 7, is the number 23. Why this number makes you do everything. I'll let you in on a secret. This is about genes. 23 chromosomes. Discover information on the cutting edge of the field of nutrigenomics, probably a field you've never heard of, the science of how your diet affects your genes. This is truly an untapped field, and it has the biggest impact on your health. So learn why your DNA is set in stone, but your genes can change throughout your life. So even today, your genes were changing. You were activating and deactivating genes. Everything happened. It's happening in real time. Epigenetics, it's happening now. And that section did dive into all of the science behind it. So module number 8, the cake is a lie, why you slip up and why it's okay. Now, I did take this from Portal, but for those of you out there who are geeks, understand how to deal with stress and setbacks, the psychology of eating, why you can cheat. I don't like the word cheat, but why you can cheat and how to stay on track. You know, it's okay to cheat, and how you can get back on after you've done it. You know, it's not the end of the world. It can be a slippery slope. It doesn't have to be. You put too much stress on it. This is about the psychology of it. Create your mindset to achieve your goals. This is really important. This can help you with all aspects of your life. You know, this isn't about nutrition. It's creating the mindset to achieve your goals. It's not just, you know, finding the right foods and eating them. It's about changing your life. Module number 9 is the nutrition of water, how just one thing can make 99% of your molecules. You are 70% water by volume, but you are 99.9% of water by molecule. And that's crazy to just know that you're completely water. Find out how you can be made from the purest substance on earth, like truly the purest, like stuff that hasn't been touched since the beginning of agriculture 10,000 years ago. Some of this water that you can access hasn't been touched by human hands, hasn't seen the light of day. You won't get this from anywhere else. You really, you won't hear about where to get good water. Nobody talks about that. Learn that not all water is created equal. Source your water like you would your food. So you need to be as diligent about your water as you are about your food. Module number 10 goes over what goes beyond nutrition. It's the 7 techniques to get more out of your food, and why these 7 techniques should be taught as a kid, why everybody should know about them, because they can really unlock your food's potential. They make all the difference for your food. Master the art of eating and cooking, and just from watching me do it, I'll show you and you can master it. Like literally, you can watch me and you will be a master of it. It is that easy, and nobody knows about it. So module number 11 is your specialized health plan, the plan that best fits your life, made by you. Become the architect of your health. And by this point, you will have made your own personalized health plan. I don't want to, discourage you from anything, but you will make it. Like, I will show you how you can make it, how it can be your plan truly just for you. This takes into account everything from your goals to your genes. You know, this isn't just like cookie cutter, like, oh yeah, you made it, but you kind of copied me. No, you will be making it according to your goals specifically. Module number 12, now that you know everything, you know, what next? How your knowledge can expand and where to go from here. Now, you will not need my help after taking this whole course. You will not need my help to make nutrition decisions. You will be as much of an expert as I am, really. In here I'll describe where you can go to keep learning, where I go to keep learning, where I learn my topics from, and what my sources are. You know, this is tactics for telling whether information you come across is true for you. And how much, like, will this cost me? You know, that's probably what you're thinking. You could spend 10,000 hours to learn and decipher like I did. You know, you can wade through it all yourself, and it's crazy. You could hire a professional coach, you know, for $50,000. You could find somebody who actually will hold your hand and take you through this. And you'll pay the money for it. You can pay thousands upon thousands trying to find something that might work. You don't even know if it'll work or not. Like, it may not even be for you, and you'll have to dissect everything specifically for you. So it won't cost you thousands. And I'm giving everyone here a pre-launch discount. So you'll pay half of the actual VIP launch when it launches, and you can pay it right now, and it's just $250. So this includes everything that I've talked about here. And I want to bring you back here. I don't want you to get lost, but I want to reemphasize what you get with this. So absolutely everything. that I've talked about here is coming with this course. You're not going to get the $250 one and then say, hey, if you pay the rest, you'll unlock the rest of this. That's not true. You'll get everything. And I want you to have as many resources as possible. So what you'll get is you'll get your very own copy of your health plan, the one that you make. You'll get it set in stone, made by you. You'll get your food journal, your food, mood, poop journal. I'll make one that you can follow, and it'll make it so much easier. There's a recipe book that's included in here. It's got pictures, and your course book, a copy of everything, access to tons of videos. You'll get audio, PDF and video downloads, and way more downloads. If you want to do your course whenever, if you don't want to be on the internet and do it, you can download it and learn by yourself. Here's some more free bonuses. You can access an exclusive Facebook page that will involve other people just like you, you who are trying to figure out what your health is, what your nutrition should be, and you'll have support. You can ask questions, and I'll be in there. You can ask me questions. I'll have weekly Q&A calls where I answer your questions. I'll let you email me questions, and you can ask. And if there's something on the Facebook page that doesn't get answered, I will answer it. So you'll also get a course planner to help keep you on track so that it doesn't become daunting. It's not crazy. You can truly learn it, and this will keep you on track. So there'll also be the awesome tools guide, and this is exactly what I use for all of my food. Everything that I make, I include in this tool guide. Plus, you'll get a 60-day money-back guarantee. This isn't something that I want to just sell you and then rush off. I want you to truly enjoy this. So that means you get like all of this stuff. You get 12 epic modules for success. You get your personalized health plan made by you. You get a food, mood, poop journal. You get a recipe book with pictures, a complete course book. You get tons of awesome videos. You get audio, video, and text downloads. You get exclusive Facebook page access to this one exclusive Facebook page. You get weekly Q&A calls for your questions from me. A course planner for your success, the awesome tools guide that shows you everything that I use. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee, plus you get lifetime access to everything you see here, everything that's in it, and I will constantly be updating it as I'm learning. I told you I'm always learning. I will be updating it, and you'll get lifetime access to everything. So all you've got to do is visit this URL, course.rewildyourhealth.com/presale. And this is to get the Rewild Your Health course, like truly everything that you've learned here. Like if you want to take health into your own hands, if you want to not have to worry about, is this right for me? Is this, the best thing for my body? Is this really what'll help me more than anything else? You don't have to worry anymore. You can go right here, course.rewildyourhealth.com/presale. It's only $250. Like seriously, when the launch goes up, the price instantly doubles. And I promise you, after that launch, it's going to go up even more. This is really the deal of a lifetime. You can be, one of the real pioneers in this field, and this is built for your genes, and I'll show you how to build it. Like really, you will have all of the information yourself. You will not even have to come find me or try to find somebody to help you. Really, this will all be yourself. So what I really want to emphasize to you yet again is that with all of this, it is made for you. It is made for your genes. It is going to be made by you. You will have all of the information yourself, and it truly is an unbelievable product. I really wish that I had something like this when I first started. If I had known about something like this, this would have made my whole journey so much easier. It would have made my life easier, and I would be even farther now. But I'm hoping to create this shortcut for you. I will hope that you will be able to not have to go through the years of struggle that I did, not have to spend everything that I did, not have to do everything I did. You will get it just presented to you, specifically for you. You will learn everything yourself. So what I do want you to do with this webinar is to go ahead and really implement that journal. I want you to take advantage of everything. I want you to write down everything that you eat. Just try it for a day, a week. Try it and write down everything you eat, everything you drink, when you do it. If your mood changes, write that down. Whenever you poop, write that down, like everything. I want you really to be set up for success. And just doing this one thing is going to be a huge step. When we come back next week, we're going to start diving into the actual, diets, and you'll start gathering more information from me. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you can implement everything and that it works well for you. But remember, again, go to the course URL. At least go check it out. Go check out the sales page. Course.rewildyourhealth.com/presale. It'll have all the information. I've got all this information and more broken down on that page just for you, so that you can actually learn everything yourself. And you will get, like everybody on this webinar will get, the actual the pre-launch price, because I want you to succeed. I want you to be a part of this with me. You'll be at the beginning, and this course will come to you, and it'll help guide you to your goals. So thank you for tuning in today. If you have any questions, go follow me on Twitter. My handle is @crunksven. Make sure you use your hashtag. I want to know what your test was, how long it took you to get all the seeds out of your intestines. Just use the hashtag ReWild Your Health, and hope to talk to you soon. Come back next week, and we'll talk about even more. We'll start diving into your diet, and we'll start actually talking about what foods you should be eating. So hope to see you next Saturday, and thank you for joining me.